following program is a 20 East Media Network presentation.
OB, you made it hit, nigga.
Media Network. Armando Black. The Boss. Armando Black. The Boss. East Media Network. East Media Network. Armando Black. The Boss. Armando Black. Who runs these ATL streets? Armando Black. Who runs these ATL streets? Armando Black. The Boss.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone in the chat. Salute to everyone in the chat. This is pre-recorded, so if I do not personally shout you out, please do not take it personal and get upset with me. I love you all, but this is pre-recorded. As you know, my Mondays are very loaded lately with the real estate, and have other things going on as well that jumped off after the first of the year. So this is going to be pre-recorded. I wanted to come on and give my honest take to last night's Super Bowl, the game, the halftime performance, as well as the commercials, and actually to give an overall summary of exactly what happened in last night's game. All righty, so we're going to get started here. And I also want to remind you all, make sure you go sub up to the 20 East Nation TV channel, and also to Underboss TV as well. All right. Later on this spring, we will also start selling the 20 East Nation merch will be launched. So I'm working on a lot of things, a lot of business related to 20 East Nation, as well as the cyberbullying hotline that I also had mentioned back towards the end of December. So let's go ahead and get this thing popping with my honest take of last night's Super Bowl. And 3, 2, 1. Let them clowns go.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I found this in the confines in the beautiful, beautiful desert of Scottsdale, Arizona last night. In my opinion, one of the greatest, not only one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time, but one of the greatest football games of all time. This game reminded me a lot of a throwback 70s, 80s heavyweight boxing championship match where both guys came back. The one that comes to mind would be the Thriller in Manila. And that's why I labeled the title The Thriller in the Desert. Because you had arguably the two best teams in the league, Kansas City in the AFC, the Eagles in the NFC, finally meeting on the field to settle it, to find out who was the best. And without a shadow of a doubt, we know this morning that the best team in the NFL and throughout the season of 2022, despite of all the setbacks that they had, losing Tyreek Hill and contract negotiations and having to deal with a lot of injuries, a lot of nagging injuries. The Kansas City Chiefs were clearly the best team in the NFL. Hands down, they were head and shoulders above everyone else. Let me explain something to a lot of you. I'm hearing different reactions. I'm hearing that, the referees cheated. The referees cheated. No. Let me quote the great Jimmy Johnson, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins. In a football game, you can only blame yourself because you never, ever let yourself get in a situation where the game is in the hands of the referee. And that goes for baseball. You never want to leave the game in the hands of the umpire. You never, in basketball, you never want to leave the game in the hands of the officials, where it comes down to one play, a foul, a touch foul, or whatever. The Eagles clearly dominated the first half. And they had, in my opinion, the most talented roster, but the Kansas City Chiefs just had the most experienced roster, a team that has done it like 3 years ago. They won the Super Bowl 3 years ago. So this was not new to them. This was not their first rodeo. Now, of course, the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2017, but how many of those players are left on that team? Not many. Not many. You had a new quarterback, and I think out of the entire roster, you maybe had like 5 or 6 players left over from that 2017 team, where Kansas City was loaded with players from 3 years ago. Okay, so listen, KC came out with a game plan, and the game plan was to bring the house, force Jalen Hurts to beat them with his arm on third down. So on first down, they would play basic defense. Second down, they would play a zone coverage. But on third down, they were bringing the house. They were shooting gaps. The linebackers were shooting gaps, and the Eagles had no answer for it. What I saw was that the Kansas City defensive line on third down, they won third down in the trenches. In the trenches is where games are won and lost. And I tell everyone, there's some sports fans that seems to think, well, you have an air raid attack, you're going to win games, you're going to win championships. No. Even in 2023, football games are won and lost in the trenches, just like wars. Wars can be fought in the air. Wars can be fought on the water. But eventually, wars are won and lost on the ground. And that's exactly what happened last night. In the trenches, when it all counted, at the end of the day, the Kansas City defensive line was just taking it to the Eagles' offensive line. The Eagles' offensive linemen could not keep those blitzing linebackers, those blitzing pass rushers off of Jalen Hurts. And eventually that decided the game. Another thing I think was the problem for the Eagles was the poor clock management by the head coach. The head coach, in my opinion, when he had a chance to pad the lead and go up by multiple scores, did a poor job of clock management. And I also noticed it at the end of the first half. You have a chance to put your foot on your opponent's throat. You don't miss out on that opportunity, especially a team like Kansas City, led by Patrick Mahomes, arguably the best player in the NFL right now, hands down, especially with Tom Brady retired. Patrick Mahomes is definitely, no doubt, in my opinion, the best player in the NFL. Now, is he the most talented? But right now, if you ask me, if I had to put my money on any quarterback on any roster, and I'm down by 6 points and I need a touchdown, what quarterback am I choosing to finish on that last drive? I'm choosing this kid right here, Patrick Mahomes. Kid is great in the clutch and on the big stages. And that's something that a lot of quarterbacks do not have. They're great athletes. They have great arm strength. But when it counts on the big stage, when it counts, every quarterback can't deliver. We experienced that here in Atlanta with our two previous franchise quarterbacks, Michael Vick, Matt Ryan. In my opinion, Michael Vick, one of the greatest athletes that I've ever seen. The speed, the arm strength, the guy could run. He would run around you, through you, over you. I've seen this guy make guys look silly on the football field. Talent-wise, he had superior talent. But when it counted on the biggest stage, when we needed him to be great in that 2004 NFC Championship game against these same Eagles, which was coached at the time by Andy Reid, he couldn't deliver. Matt Ryan, great accuracy. Arm strength is iffy. So you know, like it depends if you're speaking on the early part of his career versus the latter part of his career. But he had great accuracy. Great accuracy. But and he would show up and show out during the regular season. But when it counted on the big stages, when it absolutely counted on the big stages, he couldn't deliver. If he ran up against Aaron Rodgers, or if he ran up against Colin Kaepernick in 2012, or he ran up against Tom Brady and that 28-3 heartbreaking Super Bowl loss, in my opinion, I still say that Super Bowl between the Patriots and the Falcons was the greatest Super Bowl of all time. You know, anytime a team comes from behind 28-3, and then that is the only Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the only Super Bowl that actually went into overtime. Okay, if I'm not mistaken. So that puts that Super Bowl, in my opinion, the greatest of all time. But this game right here, what makes this game so great is that those guys left it all on the field. Every play, these players went hard. They left it all on the field. And I can honestly say that football fans all across America last night, we were spoiled. This right here, this game between the Chiefs and the Eagles will go down as one of the greatest of all times. Now, let me speak on the halftime performance. Shout out to Rihanna, Riri. Congratulations to you, ma'am. As everyone knows, and she revealed last night, she is expecting her second child. Her and her husband, ASAP Rocky, they're going to be blessed with their second child together. So, congratulations to her. For a woman that that was actually pregnant, I think she did a great job. I enjoyed the halftime performance. Didn't really get a chance to see it in real time, but I watched the playback of it. Very good performance. Now, there were better performances, and then, you got to put Bruno Mars up there. Definitely Beyonce. I think the greatest Super Bowl performance of all time, in my opinion, was Prince. The Prince Super Bowl performance in, I think it was Super Bowl 41. Super Bowl 41 down in Miami, in the middle of him performing Purple Rain. And they had the stage and everything lit in purple. And it just started raining in Sunkist Stadium, which is now currently Hard Rock Cafe Stadium. It just started pouring down, raining. And anyone that remembers that moment when the rain was coming down and combining with the purple lights and the that were going on, the purple lights that they were using for the props for the Prince Super Bowl halftime performance, it was just a magical moment. The rain actually was looking purple. So that's a moment that we will never forget. National anthems, you got, there's no comparison. No one comes close to Whitney's halftime. I'm sorry, her performance singing the national anthem in the 1990 Super Bowl between the Giants and the Buffalo Bills. The commercials, in my opinion, last night, they sucked. Those were the most hideous, terrible Super Bowl commercials that I've ever seen. In my years of watching the Super Bowl, those Super Bowl commercials suck. And I really honestly didn't think any Super Bowl commercials would suck worse than the year that the Seahawks and the Broncos played in the Super Bowl. But this year is they did a terrible job with those commercials. There were some that was okay, but for the most part, if I had to give it a grade, I would give it a D- for the Super Bowl commercials. But everything else, the game, I love the game. I love the commentating. The fans. How about the fans? How about the Kansas City Chiefs fans and the Eagles fans? When I tell you, those fans brought it, and I got to give the fans their flowers right now. They showed up and showed out. When Kansas City had the ball, the Chiefs fans were loud. When the Eagles were doing their thing, you could hear the EAGLES, Eagles. You could hear them playing Fly, Eagle, Fly throughout the stadium. And you could also, when Kansas City had the ball, and I was still feeling a little some type of way. They're still in our chance. We were doing the tomahawk before the Kansas City Chief fans were doing it. But hey, that's fine. They can borrow it. They can borrow it. It worked for them to win a title. It worked for us to win a title. But overall, loved it. Great game. And I'll look for these two teams to meet down the line quite a few more times. They both have young quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes is still in the prime of his career. He has many, many more years left. Jalen Hurts is young. He's on the come up. I really feel that Jalen Hurts should have been given the MVP award. I really feel that he got snubbed for the NFL MVP award. I think he'll have a great career, and I do believe that he will win a couple of Super Bowls, not just one. I think this kid will win a couple of Super Bowls, and I said it. Even though I'm not a Bama fan, I'm a huge UGA Dogs fan. Go Dogs! Whoop whoop. Jalen Hurts gave us fits when we would play against Bama. And I said back then, this kid is going to be special, and I think he's going to do great things in the NFL. And you haven't seen the last of this Eagles team. They are young, they're loaded, they're talented, they have a great quarterback, and they have a young, good head coach. I just think last night it came down to a lot of things, but one of the main things that it came down to is the team that has the most experienced head coach usually wins games like these. Andy Reid has coached on big stages like this. Now, early in his career, back in the early 2000s, a lot of you Eagles fans remember Andy Reid would come up short in big games like this. But, here 15, almost 20 years later, the man has learned how to win. He's learned what it takes to win. Sometimes you have to go to a new setting and to a new organization to actually, figure it out. And he has figured it out. He's won his second Super Bowl title, and I predict he's going to win a couple of more before he's done and ready to retire. I think the Kansas City Chiefs has the best staff. Steve Spagnuolo, he's won a couple of Super Bowls with the Giants, the defensive coordinator, and Eric Bieniemy. Hey, he's a legend. He's a legend at Colorado. He played up under one of the most, in my opinion, one of the best coaches, one of the most underrated coaches, Bill McCartney. Bill McCartney was a great play caller. If anyone remember Colorado back in the late 80s and the early 90s, Bill McCartney was one of the most one of the best play callers as far as college football coaches back during that time, along with Bobby Bowden and Dennis Erickson and Tom Osborne. Those coaches called their own plays, and Bill McCartney was a great play caller, and I see a lot of that in Eric Bieniemy, and I see him landing a head coaching job at a franchise, and eventually probably meeting up against his old mentor Andy Reid in the playoffs. So the Chiefs were just loaded, and not just roster wise and on the field, but that they have an all-star coaching staff. You have Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, and Steve Spagnuolo. Hard to beat, and you got the best quarterback on the planet right now, and that's Patrick Mahomes. So that is my take on last night's Super Bowl. My honest opinion on it. Some of you may disagree, but hey, we can all agree to disagree. That's what we do over here at 20s Nation. I'm going to be bringing you more content like this. We're not a one-trick pony over here. We're not a one-trick pony. We can talk sports, politics, you name it, whatever, and still draw your interest. So everyone, thank you. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful Monday morning here in the ATL. It's 43 degrees right now at 9:24 a.m. Eastern. Everyone, love you all. This is pre-recorded once again, so if I didn't get a chance to personally shout you out, please do not take it personal. This is pre-recorded. And just know that Armando Black loves you all, and I appreciate your support for the channels. All three channels are doing very, very well. And I also want to apologize. We did not do a quiet live last night. Normally, I would do a quiet live on Sunday night, but, the Super Bowl, I didn't want to, I figured, everyone was leaving the Super Bowl parties and everyone was feeling, had a little, the drink or whatever. So I just, I said, okay, well, we'll just let Sunday night be reserved for the Super Bowl and anyone that's doing Super Bowl reactions. I've seen a lot of Super Bowl reactions last night, and that's why I wanted to wait until this morning to do mine. So that is my reaction to the Thriller in the Desert, my reaction to Super Bowl 57. Love you. I hope Super Bowl 58 be just as entertaining, just as great. And it would be even more great if my Falcons could figure it out and get back there. But hey, maybe one day that will happen. Hopefully in my lifetime. Again, I've seen it happen twice. I would love to see them get back there for a third time. Maybe third time will be the charm. Right. And they could have the same success that my UGA dogs are having. But I'm going to get ready to get on up out of here. Love you all. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. And I'll be back. Today is going to be mostly short clips. I will not be doing any lives. Today it'll be mostly short clips. Now a lot of things I need to handle on the back end as far as paperwork or whatever, and some things pertaining to the platform. Okay, so everyone, love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Don't work too hard. Fellows, you got less than 24 hours. Valentine's Day. This is Valentine's Eve. All right, so hey, this is a perfect day to get out there, and if you haven't figured it out what you're going to do for your queens, make sure you get out there and take care of that today, because tomorrow, well, as of midnight tonight, it will officially be Valentine's. All right, let me get ready to get on up out of here. Everyone, love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. I'm Armando Black, and I'm out. Peace from the ATL.
East Media Network. Armando Black. The Boss. Armando Black. The Boss. East Media Network. East Media Network. Armando Black. The Boss.